Hey, this is the video for Lesson 4 of Unit 1, Topic 1. This is all about solving equations and writing meaningful expressions. The warm-up goes with the paper that you probably received in class about properties, and there's a word bank at the top. And we're going to use those properties in order to justify why we're doing for each step, what we're doing, and how we're solving the equation. So these are variables on both sides. It's a fairly easy question based on the warm-ups that we've been doing recently. Always move the one that's smaller. I want to get rid of x, so I'm going to subtract x from both sides. And this is called the subtraction property of equality. And it's listed at the top. Subtraction property of equality states that if you subtract the same thing from both sides, then you are not changing the answer. Subtraction property of equality. There we go. Alright, it didn't write that equality out very well, but I'm just going to live with that. So 7x minus 10 equals 11. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to try to get rid of the minus 10. I'm going to do the opposite operations like we've been doing, and I'm going to add 10 to both sides. And yep, you guessed it, that is called the addition property of equality because I am adding 10 to both sides. And I'm just going to abbreviate because I don't really have space to, nor am I writing very well here. So of equality. There we go. So I'm writing a little slower, so it's working a little better. All right, so that's going to leave me with 7x on the left-hand side and 21 on the right-hand side. We are one step away. We need to divide both sides by 7. And that is going to leave us with an answer of 3. All right, so that is the division. Oh, come on, pen. There we go. Division property of equality. All right, then take a look at question number 2. Question number 2 is going to be solved very similar. We've got only variables on the left side, so we don't have to combine variables this time, so it's going to be a little bit shorter. I'm going to add 2 to both sides. Once I've added 2 to both sides, we've got 5p equals 34. That would be the addition property of equality. I'm not saving time here to write, not writing it. So divide both sides by 5. And I need to pull out my calculator again. And so that's going to be 34 divided by 5. It's going to give us about 6 point something. I believe it's 6.8. But I'm going to use my calculator to check anyway. So 34 divided by 5 is going to be 6 8/10. Just like I had predicted. P equals 6 8/10. That's the division property of equality. All right, so that's talking about equality. That's talking about all those properties that we've been doing in class. The only one you didn't see here, I think, was distributed property. That's when you have parentheses with something on the outside. You'll probably see that in the next warm-up. So in this lesson, this was also about the same as pretty much all the other ones, which is writing meaningful expressions, being able to figure out what something is and whether or not it can be added and subtracted and whether or not it can be multiplied and divided. So that's really what this lesson's about. Why can you add NE plus NS plus NB? Well, all of these, that's the number of entrees, the number of side items, and a number of beverages. Why can this be added? Because those are all the same type of items. So this is entrees, these are side items, these are beverages. Those are all items. And this one can also be added. Okay, pen. Having issues here. These are all items. That's the reason why they can be combined, because they're all the same kind of thing. Boys and girls are all people. So if you add boys plus girls, you get total amount of people. Why can't you add M plus W? You can't add M, I believe, stood for minutes in the cafeteria, and W stands for the number of workers. And you can't add those because minutes plus workers makes... I don't know. That makes no sense. You can't add things that aren't the same. So it's like saying, what's 3 apples plus 2 Snickers? I don't know, 5 things? That's the only thing I can think of because that's the only thing that an apple and a Snickers bar would have in common. So what this page is designed, and it goes through question by question, and you answer the questions to figure out which ones make sense, which ones don't. And what you realize is that this one works, this one works, this one does not. And the reason why this one does not is because M and W have different units. The unit has to be the same. So if I add 5 hours plus 3 gallons, that makes no sense. hours and gallons cannot be combined. You cannot add those because one's a measurement of time and the other one's a measurement of volume, and that just does not make sense. But then when you get into the multiplication, it does make sense. Units do not have to be the same in order to multiply, but it still does have to make sense. NE is number of entrees times the price of an entree. So if you multiply 5 entrees times the price of $1 each, that gives you $5 total. That makes sense. If you're doing L times W, if you can multiply L and W, oh, I forgot what those symbols represent, but that one does make sense. So if you have girls times classes, if I take the amount of girls that buy lunch and I multiply it by how many classes there are in the cafeteria, that's going to give me some number that just makes no sense. This one does not make sense, and that's what you find when you go through this. So when you go through this lesson one by one, you'll notice that what works is that you'll see whenever you set it up on the top and on the bottom, you're going to notice that you can always eliminate one of the two one of the two labels that goes with it. So if we have NE, so that's the number of items. All right, so that's items per person. And then on bottom, it's the price per entree. Number of entrees, I'm sorry. Number of entrees. And then on bottom, you're multiplying. Oh, nope. Price per entree. I'm thinking of division. I'm sorry. Let me start all over. So that's number of entrees, and we're trying to multiply it by the price per entree. Price per entree. All right, so we're trying to multiply that by the number of entrees. What you're noticing is that they both have entrees involved. Since they both have entrees involved, then it will make sense. They must have the exact same item in their two choices in order for it to make sense. If it doesn't, it won't make sense. And when it comes to division, then you're going to do that whole fancy cross off. But I believe that's actually the next lesson. I'm getting ahead of myself. Nope. Here it is. All right, here's the division. Here's the one I like the best. So let me pick some ones that I remember. S and P. Ooh, I might have to go back and find what was S and P. So I go back to my original sheet. Oh, I don't have it here. So I'm gonna have to find another one that I do know. So I do need to find. Let's see. This is the amount of lines, and F stood for. Ooh, I can't remember off the top of my head. It's been a year since I've done this lesson. So what you're gonna notice is that when you have something written out, top and bottom, you're going to be able to cross off the ones that are the same, and whatever's left over is the answer. So if we have number students per lunch period, I believe is what that is, and F, boy, I wish I could remember what F was. I don't have that list in front of me. Whatever that one is, it must have student or lines involved in it. Probably has something to do with lines. That's why I can't remember it. And the lines will literally cross off. You cross off both lines because it's on top and bottom. Anything divided by itself is 1. And whatever's left on top over the bottom is the units for that answer. And it kind of works out pretty nifty like that. Really, pretty neat. All right, so unfortunately I can't show you at this point. So then on the homework, so you've got C over line. So you've got classes divided by line. So how many classes there are divided by how many lines there are basically gives you a description that will give you an answer of how many classes per line. So, and this one, classes per worker. So that basically would tell you how many classes each worker will have. And description of F. Oh, I can't remember what F is, and F is the one that's killing me right now. Total beverages, let me skip that one for the time being since I can't remember what F is. Total beverages served in the cafeteria per day. Total beverages served in the cafeteria per day. So now I'm trying to figure out what expression would represent that. Total beverages sold. So I need to find the total beverages sold. So I believe that was N sub B per day. So I'm going to divide that served in a day. So I'm going to have to multiply that by how many. So we can take N of B, which I believe was beverages sold per lunch period, and multiply it by the cafeteria. What I think I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to go get that list, and I'm going to have to just make another video. This one's already at 9 minutes long anyway, and I'm just going to have to do this homework on another video. All right? I'll make sure I get this done. Ask me if I don't. Thanks for watching.